Does the use of the gas stove scare you? Probably you picture an explosion or a fire. In this video, I'm going to explain the safe way to use the gas stove. Let's get started. Hi and welcome. In case we are meeting for the first time, my name is Mark Kunda. On this channel, we promote safety because we want you to be safe and happy. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to the channel for you to keep on enjoying safety tips. Now let's get into our main topic. Before I give you the safety precautions that you need to observe, I'll start by showing you the components of the gas stove and how they work. So let's start with the components of the gas stove. You have a gas cylinder which keeps the gas, and then you have a stove which produces the fire, and the two are connected by a pipe. How these components work is that the gas cylinder keeps the gas in liquid form. The gas is called LPG, or liquefied petroleum gas. While the gas is in the cylinder, it's in liquid form. As it leaves the cylinder, it turns into gas. So the gas in the is kept in the cylinder, and the cylinder has got a regulator or a valve. When you open the valve, the gas will leave the gas cylinder into the pipe to the stove. So if you open the regulator or the valve to the maximum, it means you're allowing more gas to leave the gas cylinder to the stove. So if you want to control the amount of gas that you're using, you can use the regulator here. You open just enough to produce the fire that you want to make. So this is the regulator to control the amount of gas and also to regulate the pressure that is getting to the stove. With the regulator, it ensures that the pressure is smooth and safe. The pipe is connected to the cylinder, and you need to ensure that it's sealed to prevent any leakages. When it comes to the stove, you have a plate which you can even remove and clean. And then you have a switch which you use to start the fire. You also have a burner which produces the fire. So the gas comes through the pipe into this other pipe, then it separates for the two plates. The switch produces a spark which starts the fire. So these are the components of the gas stove. How do they work? Once you have refilled the cylinder with the gas from the supplier, you need to come and connect the pipe to the cylinder. Ensure that it's properly tightened to prevent any leakages. Once you have connected and you are ready to start the stove, the first step is to open the valve. Just open it enough. If you want, you can reach the maximum or just enough. At that point, the gas has started reaching the burner. To start the fire, you turn the switch anti-clockwise or in the left direction. Now, this switch is made with a safety feature. If you just try to turn it, it will not work. This safety feature is to ensure that you do not turn on accidentally. So for it to work, you need to press it first and then you turn until you hear a sound. Then the fire will start. It's that simple. That's basically the way you do it. So the flame, you regulate it using the switch. So the switch, as you continue turning anti-clockwise, it means you are regulating the flame, you are controlling the flame. So if you want a lot of heat or a big flame, you leave it on top here just after turning. But if you want to reduce the amount of gas that you are using, you keep on turning until the maximum. This is opposite to the electric stove. For the electric stove, switching on is in the clockwise direction. As you continue turning, you are increasing the heat of the electric stove. But for the gas stove, it's the opposite. As you continue turning in the left direction or anti-clockwise direction, you are actually reducing the amount of heat. In short, you are reducing the amount of gas that you are using. So if you want to save gas, not to use a lot of gas, you need to set the switch at the minimum, not close to the top. So you are moving from maximum and going to the minimum. That's the way it works. So remember, as you continue turning left, you are actually reducing the amount of gas. In other words, you are saving gas. That's the way you use the switch. So this is to regulate the flame. This is to regulate the amount of gas that is leaving the cylinder. So you can use the two to control the usage of the gas. When you are done cooking, you do the opposite. You turn clockwise until you hear that sound, then the flame will go off. Now, even if the flame has gone off, it does not mean the gas has stopped reaching the burner. As long as the valve is open, the gas is still reaching the burner. So you need to ensure that you, after switching off with the switch, you also close the valve. Very, very important. Now, coming to the safety aspect of the gas stove, the cylinder itself is designed to accommodate a certain amount of gas at a certain pressure. So you need to ensure that you do not exceed the rated pressure. And as long as you are complying, you are filling the cylinder to its designed capacity, you have no risk of leakage or explosion. The design of this cylinder is in such a way that it's able to withstand pressure. As you can see, it only has one joint and the edges are smooth to ensure that it's able to withstand pressure. It doesn't have sharp corners. Sharp corners create a weak point when it comes to pressure. So it's designed in such a way that it's able to withstand pressure. So there's no risk of explosion, the cylinder exploding, as long as you are complying with the rated pressure. The other risk is the explosion of the fire, and this can only be caused when there's a leakage of the gas. So as long as the regulator is well tight and there is no leakage, there is no risk of any fire explosion with regard to the cylinder. The second risk is the leakage between the connection of the cylinder and the pipe. So here you need to ensure that it's properly tightened to prevent any leak, and you need to ensure that the valve is also working properly. The other thing is with the tube. So you need to ensure that the pipe is in good working condition. It doesn't have any cracks, it doesn't have any pierces, and it's well connected both to the stove and to the cylinder. So as long as the pipe doesn't have any cracks and it's connected tightly, there's no risk of any leakage. When the gas is reaching the burner and you haven't closed the valve, it means that there is a potential risk of the gas leaking into the room through the burner. So you need to ensure that you close the valve to prevent any gas reaching the stove. Now, coming to general safety precautions of a gas stove, the first one is to ensure that there's no leakage. How do you do that? You need to ensure that the joints where you have joined the pipe to the cylinder is very tight. And also where the pipe connects to the stove is properly sealed. And then you also need to ensure that the burner is also in good working condition. So leaks are things that you need to check for all the time. How do you identify leaks? The first one is that you may hear the hissing sound. That should show you that there might be some leakage somewhere. The other way that you can tell if there's a leakage is by use of soapy water. You dissolve some soap in the water, and then you put especially the joints and also the pipe to just see if there's any leak. So you open the valve and then you apply some water, soapy water, to look for any bubbles. If you see any bubbles, it's an indication that there's a leak. So you close the valve and fix the leak. The third one is through the smell. LPG itself is odorless, but the producers of LPG add a bad smell so that it's easier to detect. So when you smell a bad smell, a bad scent, it could be an indication that there is a gas leak. So that's the way you would detect any leak. So what do you do if you find that there is a leak? The first thing that you do, if the gas is on, switch it off and then close the valve, disconnect, check if it's the pipe, replace the pipe. You can call for the qualified technician to help you fix it. So any gas stove that has a leak, do not use it for your own safety. You need to ensure that the valve is kept closed every time you are not using the stove. The other thing is that you need to keep the cylinder in upright position. Do not put it lying down, just to stand upright, and then put it in an open space, not in an enclosed space. This is because just in case there is some leaks, the LPG might accumulate in that enclosed place. So you want to prevent any accumulation of the LPG. You need to keep the stove at a flat surface, and you need to ensure that you keep it clean all the time, and always use the switch instead of using matches or a lighter. Use a switch to start the fire. When it comes to the pipe, avoid putting anything on top of the pipe. This may damage the pipe. Do not use anything that is sharp. It might cut the pipe or prick the pipe, which might create a place for the leak of the gas. So basically, those are some of the tips that you need to bear in mind. Thank you for watching. I encourage you to subscribe. Until next time, stay safe.